Okay, welcome to Win the Day live stream where we talk about how to win the day as real estate agents and people in general. So I get to work early, usually most days, somewhere around 6 to 6:30. Get my poop in a group, go after it. Go after it. However, it needs to be gone after. And I was getting ready today, doing my thing, and I got a phone call out of the blue. It's from a friend of mine who I hadn't probably talked to in 20 years, good number of years, an old neighbor of mine. And it was weird. He just called out of the blue. He said he saw a post I put on Facebook and he called me. And we ended up talking for an hour. And it was really cool, just chit-chatting about nothing and everything all at the same time. And when I hung up with him, it was just like, you know what? That was really cool. I wonder how many friends I have out there that are cryogenically frozen in time, that if I make an effort like this guy did to me, what would my life look like? It would certainly be different. And I think it'd be more fulfilling and happy, because I'm pretty pumped up right now that I spoke to him. And again, we didn't solve any problems. We didn't even identify any problems. We just chatted, right? Just like back in the old days. And so, yeah, that was cool. Now, the flip side of that is, and what I wanted to talk about today is schedule, right? And now my schedule's off. So I think there's a certain amount of flexibility that you have to build into your schedule, and a certain amount of rigidity that you have to build into your schedule, such that you get what you need to get done, but you have enough flexibility that you can bend when necessary. And I'm going to put that to the test today. So that's where we're at. But let's talk about it. The schedule. I'm curious to hear what y'all have on a schedule. Destiny, what does your schedule look like day to day, most days?
Day to day, I am up early at about 5:30, get my first son off to school. And then I have my devotional time with God. Then I meet you here. 8:00 is the start to my work day. And after that, I start digging into my database and figuring out what I need to tighten up and follow up with. And then I start lead gen.
You're into your database at what, 8:30?
No, about 9:00.
Okay. Till when?
No, I'll take that back. I start my team meeting at 9. So about 9:30 is when I start digging into the database.
For an hour, 2 hours, 15 minutes?
About an hour. Mm-hmm.
What does digging into a database look like?
That looks like finding people I need to reach out and touch, the follow-ups that I have tasked to talk to.
Lead follow-up?
Yes.
Okay. Love it. Then what happens?
And then I get into my dialer and start dialing. I dial 2.5 hours a day.
So lead gen, 2.5 hours. Okay.
Mm-hmm. After that, it's answering emails, returning phone calls, putting out fires if I need to. If I have an appointment set, those are for the afternoon, listing appointments, buyers consultations, and then I do my thank you notes when I get home.
So when does your work day end?
About 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Okay. When's it start? 8
o'clock.
Okay. 8 to 5, 8 to 4:30. Julie, what does your day look? Is that a normal schedule? First of all, Julie, Destiny, is that day to day? Is that typical?
Yes, unless the kids act up or something.
Okay. But generally speaking, Julie, what does your day look like, generally speaking?
I generally.
Let me ask you this before you even answer. Is it mostly the same, or is every day just a wild ride?
It's mostly the same, although there's wild ride in between.
Okay.
I try to keep my appointments to the afternoon, just like Destiny, so that I can get all the important tasks. So the night before, I generally try to prioritize my day and look at my calendar so that I don't let something that's important slide and surprise me during the day. So I try to do 3 Post-it notes that I write whatever must get done. And it might not be a big thing, but must get done. And I try to do those 3 things before I do my email. So similar to Destiny, I get up early, usually between 4:30 and 5:30, do my quiet time, my praying, my Bible app, that kind of thing. And just kind of make sure that I have my 3 things done before I let my day get away from me. And I feel like reading email is letting your day get away from you. I try not to chase rabbit holes with email, but I also want to make sure there's nothing urgent going on there. So I try not to touch that until after this call. And I have a 7:30 a.m. appointment. So I'm an hour ahead of you guys. When I get off this call, I meet with my assistant and we go through what her priorities are. And sometimes that's, priorities that I have that I can hand off to her so that I can do client follow-up and lead gen. Nice. Basically, her role is to do everything that requires you to be in an office, and mine is everything that I should be out of the office.
So what does the afternoon look like for you on a daily?
It's different. I mean, my goal, I actually set in my calendar appointments and then I fill them in. So it's already there to be filled in with buyer appointments, seller appointments, real estate reviews, just anything client related is set for the afternoon. And then my assistant can also drop appointments in there because she knows that those are times that are scheduled to be with clients.
Okay, cool. Mark, what is yours? Is it different? Same? I don't know. What do you do?
Well, it's different in that I'm a team leader and coach. And so most of my morning, I get my morning up. I have my time for prayer, meditation, reading. Then I'm on here. This kicks off the beginning run. Then I follow this with, I have a little adjustment in my calling, but like 3 team or 2 group team coaching, whether with my team or with a team of agents that I coach, back to back. Then I'll spend the morning just looking over any lead generation I need to do, real estate or coaching clients. And then my afternoon is filled with clients.
Okay. All right. So it sounds, I think, fairly typical. Generally speaking, when I was a salesperson, and I don't do as much as that, and I'm doing a little bit more with some property management things I've got going on right now. But generally speaking, I come in, first thing is lead follow-up. All right. The way I was trained is you do your lead follow-up. Who do I need to talk to? Any friggin' whiff, a maybe, I don't know, if everything falls into place, anything. I got to talk to these people. At one point you were thinking of this. Is that still the case? What's the next step? I mean, I've talked about it here over and over, but that's the way I start every day is lead follow-up. And so what I go to our people, hey, where's your best chance for a listing or a deal? Where is it? What's the lead follow-up? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What's the lead follow-up? Okay, that's usually about 30 minutes. And then lead gen is next, but sandwiched between follow-up and generation is a little bit of role play. We go over the conversation, what that looks like, so we're mentally dialed into what the conversation's about, where we're trying to go, and what we have to say, and in that. And then we do lead gen. Usually it's for about 3 hours. We're trying to get 20 contacts, and it's about 3 hours. So that's our morning, right? Lead follow-up, role play, lead gen. Now we're at lunchtime. That's almost every single day. And then in the afternoons, we come back after lunch, or if we leave, I don't know, whatever the program is there. Then it's almost a redo. Lead follow-up. Reach out to anyone and everyone, any remote sniff or whatever that may give you business, all right, that you didn't get to earlier in the morning. Hit them at lunch, all right? Then after that, if you have appointments, you go on, you deal with your appointments. If you don't have an appointment, what you're going to want to do is go to your listings if you don't have some sort of listing coordinator. But go to your listings. This is customer service, especially these days. Properties are going to sit on the market longer. You're going to need really good customer service because the likelihood that you're going to need an extension on your listing is high right now. And the way you get those extensions is by being attentive to your listings. Don't set it and forget it on your listings, and don't do that. So you're going to have to talk to those folks. I don't know how many, we're carrying 63 right now, so that's a lot of talking. But however many you have, probably not that many. You can probably talk to them in a period of 30 minutes, I would think. And you do your appointments and your prep for your appointments in the afternoon. And after that, if you don't have any appointments, right, and you've talked to your listings, you're going to preview a property. This is a little looser, right? Depending on what's going on. If you have appointments, you have appointments. If you don't, you can move to the customer service aspect. If you don't have a whole lot of listings or you get through it, then you move to the preview. Where are you going to be doing your lead gen next? Or have you previewed every house in the area you're doing your lead gen now? Whatever the case may be, get out there, learn the physical aspects of wherever you're at. Okay. And then you only need to do that one day a week. It's going to take you about an hour, I would suppose. And then the other day or another day of that week, you're going to want to study the market trends. What we look at is last 30 days, what's going on year over year, right? Where are we this year to last year? Then we go 5, 10, and 30 years. What we're looking for trends. All right. And then at the end of the day, it's lead follow-up. Call every freaking possible, maybe, I don't know, follow up. And then right before you leave, get tomorrow set up. That's our day in a nutshell, over and over and over again. And if you listen through that, lead gen gets the most time. It's the most important. And I know properties go under contract and that's where your money is, but I think that's a fallacy. That's stuff in the rearview mirror. You already got that. You better be looking at your next thing before you deal with what you already got. All right. Because you got time to deal with what you got. If you're not getting new stuff, good luck. So lead gen needs to dominate your mornings and your efforts. Don't do anything else until you get your lead gen in. And then the second thing that comes up most often is lead follow-up. All right. You work so hard to find leads and then you don't follow up with them. That's a problem. So then after that, it's fill in what you got. All right. Now, I think if you follow that schedule, I know because we have 1,500 transactions based on that schedule alone. All right. I got several people that have made a lot of money based on that schedule alone. And now that I'm back into building our property management business, I'm following that general schedule as well. And I think that schedule is kind of in line with what y'all have talked about, lead gen carrying a primary position. But please, people, do not sleep on lead follow-up. That's where your money is made and lost. So be very, very careful. Be diligent about building that in.
I would say, the further you get into real estate, the more distracted, the easier it is to be distracted. Like when I say the further, the more you, the more success and the more experience you have. And I think about my first year in real estate without knowing. I mean, I did have a mentor. The first thing I did every single day, no matter what, was follow up. It was the moment it was not too early to call. And this is back when you didn't have all the technology, right? It was phone calls. And you know what? Phone calls work. And the lead follow-up was always my primary thing. Follow up, and get an appointment. That was my goal. Contact the people I've talked to, anyone who is thinking about buying or selling. And usually it's buyers when you're brand new. I almost always just had buyers, and get an appointment to show homes. That's what I did. And then when I was done following up with everybody who could possibly be thinking about buying or selling a home, that's when I would start doing lead gen. And that's basically all I did. I think a lot of people get bogged down in what's the best way to lead gen and social media and marketing and all the different things that you can spend money on. And the reality is getting in front of people face to face and voice to voice. If you're showing them that you're going to get after it and you have their best interest at heart, they're going to work with you. So just be in 100%. Front of people, call them.
100%. And you know what? You're going to talk to people, open house, the person in the grocery store, calling them on the phone, whatever the case may be. And not everybody's going to give you a big hug. Oh my God, you're the right person. No, it doesn't work that way. But if you talk to enough people, enough of them are going to love you. All right. And they're going to give you the business. And quite honestly, we're in a timing market more than anything else. I know our biggest competitor is the buyer agent I used when I bought my place. That's our even though they haven't talked to them in 22 years or whatever. Like, how long you own this place? 20 years. Oh, when's the last time you talked to your buyer's agent? I don't know. I wonder if they're still around. But that's the grass is always greener somewhere else, or they go with whatever. They open up their old file and there's that business card, and they dust it off a little bit and they call the person to see what's going on. But most of the time, that's our biggest competitor. But that's not even very much, because really it's top of mind. You know what? I'm glad you called. I'm ready to sell. I'm glad you called. I'm ready to buy. I don't even know who you are, but I'm ready. You sound like you know what you're doing. I'm in. And unfortunately or fortunately, that's really all you need. Fair to say? Have you noticed that, Destiny?
True.
Absolutely. It's staying top of mind, and even being so relentless that even when they don't answer the first few times, you keep calling until they tell you don't call me anymore. And that's my motto. I'll let them tell me to leave them alone.
I think one of the traps that agents will get into, and it's amazing, all the energy of lead generation, and then they get a lead and they let it fall through the cracks, and it's like, oh my gosh, you spent all the energy to get it, now keep it. And I think part of that is there's this dopamine hit when you have a great conversation, and it's almost like you consider it a success and you move past it instead of going, no, this is just the beginning. I've got to lean into this. And I've known many people that have great conversations. They live off the dopamine rush until their cash runs out, and then they're out of business because the fortune, and it's cliche, but it's true. The fortune's in the follow-up, and you've got to do that. Don't spend all the time and not spend the follow-up.
The first thing is the follow-up. You've got to follow up, and you've got to follow up consistently. And the hotter the lead, the more frequent the follow-up, the shorter the time in between follow-up. Yeah. And you just got to be of service. But if you're the one that keeps following up, on the flip side, when you think about it, so let's say you're a buyer's agent and you represented someone, and if you're not following up with the people that closed in your rearview mirror on a regular basis, at least once a month, they're going to go with the person who is following up. Back to what we're telling you, you're going to lose those leads. How many times have you come across someone that you helped buy a house and you notice that they listed their house with someone else? And you can't go, oh, I don't like, that person.
You don't get ownership over those folks.
That's your fault. You get ownership over your lack of follow-up. And you've got to go, my fault. I lost it. My fault.
That's the beautiful thing about real estate, about sales. It's mostly whoever talked to me when I was ready to sell. There is some level of, loyalty, but it's thin, and most people don't go that route, which is great. Otherwise, new people would never, ever get a shot at anything. So your job is to be there everywhere all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's lead gen. I hate to say it, but if you're in sales, that's lead gen. It's a job. And lead follow-up is the back end of that. And again, I'll say it over and over and over until everybody knows it. Hey, it's John, Keller Williams Realty's At the Beach team. We spoke last week about you were thinking of selling your house over on Cherry Street. Is that still the case? You still want to sell it? Yes, no, maybe, I don't know, something in the middle. Well, great. What's the next step? Where do we go from here? And let them tell you, right? Hey, Joe and Mary, we looked at that house over on Main Street last week, or we're going to look tomorrow, whatever. Are you still ready to buy it? You want to write a contract? Where are we at? Simple as that. What's the next step? Oh, can you send over the paperwork?
And I would call that follow-up. So I know we talk about lead gen being the number one thing all the time, and lead gen overall as a category is the number one thing to be successful. But within the category of lead gen, follow up first and then. So people you have any kind of relationship with, connection to, them first. You go to those people first, and then the completely cold, I don't know, trying to generate the lead after
lead gen.
The warm.
Yep. So it's vital, underline, highlight, bold. You get your schedule under control. Most of the time when you're not doing lead gen or you're not doing lead follow-up or you're not doing something, it's because your schedule's out of whack.
I think you've got to schedule your day 80% full. Leave 20% for margin. You will go nuts if you try to schedule 100% and don't leave any margin, because then when you're off, it just throws you off. 80% is a home run.
I would get in the routine though. Do lead gen or lead follow up, lead gen, lead follow up, appointments, lead follow up, plan the next day. How long you do all that, whatever. But it should go in that order. You get out of order, you're gonna have some issues.
It needs to go in that order. And the thing is people kid themselves into thinking that it's going to take a lot longer than it does. If you're doing your hot, warm, cold, the people are most likely to buy right now, today, 30, 60, 90 days, that goes by super fast.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go by super fast, you need 2 or 3 or 4 assistants because you've got so much business. So be realistic and follow up the people who are your hot, warm, cold first, and you'll be done with that fast.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. This is a really straightforward job, y'all. Mm-hmm. If you can get that schedule under control, and I know stuff comes up, right? An old friend will call out of the blue and you end up talking to him. But you know what? I'm going to go right back to my process. Okay. My times, my start and end times might be a little bit, but my routine, my all that's going to be right back into it. So yeah, that's the way it goes. All right. Last words. Anyone? Julie, you got last word? Oh, Mark. Yep.
John, I'm going to jump in. I really want to encourage everybody who's watching this, go over to YouTube, make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the bell, make sure that you are getting connected. Also, weigh in. When you post, when you comment, we get to know you. I just know that yesterday I connected Julie with somebody. It could materialize in $1 million deal or a couple $1 million through those networking. That's part of lead generation. So don't just see this passively. Get in here, get online, make the comments, introduce yourself, share where you are, because we want to see that kind of interconnectivity that's happening with winning the day, where everybody is actually getting to know each other.
One of our listeners hooked up with Andrew last week, I think, on the financing of VA loan.
Nice.
Maria,
very cool. Yeah, very, very cool. All right, Julie, what do you got? Anything?
Yes, and thanks, Mark. It could turn into something. I would just say, like we said, don't kid yourself. Unless you have multiple assistants, you don't have enough business to not do your follow-up first. So do your follow-up first.
I have multiple assistants and not enough business.
So I would just say, do your follow-up. Don't kid yourself that something else is more important, because nothing's more important than following up, getting an appointment, and getting them under contract and closed. So follow up first.
I tell you what, I get asked on the regular, what is the most important thing, or what are you working on the most? And it's always 100% every single time, all the time, my schedule. If my schedule's on, I'm doing well. If my schedule's off, I'm not doing well. People, work on your schedule. Yes. Destiny?
I will say protect your schedule at all costs. Treat it like it's a doctor's appointment. It's important to you to keep your schedule protected so that you protect your boundaries and other people respect your business. And then also, for everybody that's watching, share what you want to hear from us. This is a platform for you guys. So share what your ideas are. What can you benefit from this platform?
Right on. That's what I got. I hope you guys do well today. Stay warm, do all that stuff. Let's go do some lead follow-up, lead gen, lead follow-up in appointments, and lead follow-up. All right. See y'all tomorrow. We'll see you. Bye.